Welcome back to Stationeers. We're still on Venus. We're still kicking. And we're still breathing. And, well, we're kind of, sort of still drinking. Right. Right. Well, the plants are happy. That makes one of us. Okay, you're about to seed. You're still growing towards fruiting, so I'll leave you alone. How we doing for, backpack juice? We've got plenty. Plenty. If I go ahead and remove that section, put in a regulator, I'll be able to use up all of this into there for at least 2-3 refills of a different, of a sufficient pressure. Words are hard. How are we doing on oxygen? We are doing not bad, actually. We're not doing bad at all. Let's turn you on. That'll get you up to, what did I have you set at? 5,500? Yeah, you're almost there anyway. So, okay. Alright. Well, put my suit on. Other way. Right. Okay, filters are okay-ish. Not doing bad for the battery, doing okay for gas. And let me just get that open and moved over so it's convenient. I need it in an emergency, which hopefully I won't, but you never know, right? Okay, let's see. What did I want to bring out with me? You're kind of in the way, and I actually kind of need to repurpose you for something else. Yeah. How about you come with me? Get in there. Right. Oh, I gotta go walk all the way back over here. Right. Now, I have made some improvements to the base. Minor improvements, but just to try to get us closer to being able to make our own water. And I've had a thought about how to go about cooling the water. Like I said, I want to capture as much of the heat as possible for the hot tank, for the advanced furnace, which I don't have. Anyway, so I definitely want to link up a tank and a heat exchanger. I'll just put you there for the moment. So, what I have going on over here, we know about the setup here. Okay, does that mean that's completely emptied out? Not completely emptied out, but it's... Why are you reading 0 if it's not 0? Oh, probably because it's such a low number you don't... Right, yeah, you're not going to register kilopascals when that number is so low. Right, how are we doing in here? We have 18.9 megapascals. Well, that's not bad. And down here, we have 10. So I'll just equalize that. Okay, so basically, I put in a regulator, so it would take the lower pressure, high volume gas there, condense it down to get up to the proper pressure, so the pollutant would liquefy and get out of here. I got a purge valve up there, so when the liquid accumulates, it takes away the gas. Use a jetpack to get up here. And so I've also put a heat exchanger on here so that the relatively cold pollutant that was evaporating would help cool down the volatiles, which were heating up because of the condensation. Right. And then between the oxygen, which I have moved over one canister load at a time, went ahead and put the heat exchanger between the volatiles and the oxygen so they would slowly get close to each other. Now, I've got the water burner in place. I still need to put a chip in there because what I want to do is I want to check to see what the ratio of the volatiles versus oxygen is, and then adjust the setting on the fuel mixer. So even if the temperatures are different or somehow pollutant gets in with the volatiles, it'll try to do the most efficient ratio of oxygen to volatiles as possible to get the best results coming out of here. Now, out of here, we're going to get all the waste gases and the steam. From there, we'll need to transfer heat via an exchanger over to the hot tank, which I'll need to put somewhere. Now, I've got a lot of room up there. That's probably the best place to put tanks of that nature. So they're completely out of the way. Leaves me with room down here to do a advanced furnace, which I can't print out right now. Right. So in the meantime, I may have to throw up move that furnace from over there over to here, just so I can get my Invar Constantan. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Now, right, I've gone ahead and built a box for the most part, just using the old iron walls because, well, that's what I had, and, well, why not use them? I don't intend this to have high pressure in it, but I don't want all that heat generated from the combustor to, well, thermally pollute my base, as it were. So I just need to go ahead and get a chip for that. I'll need to also think about... Alright, so I'll go ahead and cool the initial phase over here with the hot tank. Then I'll have to go to a second phase of cooling to get actual condensation of the water. Now, I just want condensation of the water. I really don't want condensation of the pollutant or anything else. But what I could do... So if I... Alright, so first stage, hot tank. Second stage, condense the steam into water. Third stage will probably be just to pipe the waste gas into the cooling loop. That might be the better way to do it. Again, we can change things around as much as we want later on, but right now I just need to get things up and running and get a head start on getting some water cooled down, because I think it's going to be a bit of a... Well, it's going to be a complicated task. Now, I've got the cable there doing that. What do I have to work with here? Okay, so because the cable's there, I can't really run a line of pipe there. But I can go down the center and go down one over. So I've got options there. And let's see. Where would I feed it into? I don't want to touch the tank that's up there getting the outside atmosphere, because that's going to be my cool, relatively speaking, cool gas. I don't want to taint that with anything hotter than what it actually is. So, if anything, I would have to come out here and then drop down. I can either drop down straight into here, get rid of that hot gas, or try to pipe it into the cooling loop properly. That might generate too much gas, though, too much hot gas, because I'll be pumping in super hot gas into here with only one air conditioner struggling to keep up. It might be better just to go ahead and say, get out of here. But I'll need to make sure that I don't lose any steam. Or if I do lose any sort of steam, it's got to be a fraction of the amount that I'm generating. Otherwise, it's kind of silly to burn all the gases that I've generated just to have it wasted into the air. That's just silly. So another thing I need to think about is, okay, getting that cooled down to condensation for the water. I'm gonna have to tap off of here somewhere. Now, I do have this. I do have this that I can utilize. Now, if this is going to get removed, let me see. What I may end up having to do is some major reconstruction here. Now, if I'm going to do that, I should probably either make sure that I don't have any holes in the floor or the ceiling, or just make sure that I deal with any renovation before I try to make this place breathable. Doesn't mean this is going to stop me from being able to start making water. I can do that because everything's going to be in pipes. I just have to make sure that I don't make too much of a boo-boo somewhere and contaminate the base. So, what I could do, I could take that frame out, and that should get me into that room over there, or it'll be the wall that separates that room versus this room. I think, let's see, so, okay, we got the door, we got the thing, and we got the thing. That, going straight, should go into the room there. This would be kind of a nice access to run pipes to and fro instead of trying to muck around with the door over there. That'd give me a lot better access to the cool and the hot side. Okay, well, this isn't exactly sealed off as it is, so... Oh, let's live dangerously, right? Right. Let's see what happens. That's the outside right there. That's exactly what I didn't want to happen. Okay, well, this is why we do what we do, because we done did it. How about then I commandeer you, put you there, and then weld you up. That might be a good idea. Right, now... I mean, that's not horrible. Oh, where's my disc? There's my disc. Exterior vent. That's what I want. And, right, you get to go ahead and evacuate all of this. Okay. Okay, so that'll give me access through pipes and wires and tigers and bears, oh my. Right. May have to reroute this cable. Probably will. Could run it down here instead. Or I can tap off these sets of batteries since all this stuff is in this room. That might be the better option. That would clear up this. I'd still have to power the airlock and have a pass-through going that way. Decisions. Well, even if I decide to power all of this off of those batteries, I probably want the main power input getting passed over that room. That way we don't have to charge the main batteries, which will then come over and charge this, which will then go over and do something else. Right. So I'm going to get you out of the way, get you out of the way, and that's not out of the way. Get me further out of the way. Right. Okay. Well, how are we doing? Okay, we could, I really got to get Invar. Really got to get Invar. Well, I've got fuel. Maybe that's what I should focus on. Maybe put you where I need to put you over there. Okay. Okay. Well, since we're here, let's see. Right. I need a chip. I need a chip. I have a chip. I have a chip right there. Okay. Right. So I have a chip. Got the mixer. We're gonna need anything else. Well, if I had a valve, I could. Anyway. Right. So if I had a valve, I could go ahead and check. No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't. I'd have to check the temperature out here, and then I'd have to check the temperature over there, and then manipulate. I could do a batch. That's for the future. I could batch right to a valve, which would open and close, and then that would help transfer the hot gas through the heat exchanger to the hot tank. So that would be, so that wouldn't take up a pin by batch writing. I'd need to know the temperature in the tank. So I need, that's one device to be a tank there. Mixer would be the second device, because I've only got 2 pins to work with. As far as temperature on this side, I can read the temperature from the output. I can read the pressure of the fuel from the input. I can read the ratios of the oxygen versus volatiles from the input and write to the setting of the mixer. So, yeah, and if I batch write to a valve that's not technically hooked up, that's not going to throw back an error. So I could actually code all of that in one fell swoop. Okay. Okay. Tanks. Ah, yeah, you're welcome. Right, put the tanks there. Where are pipes? Grab the pipes. So, come off of here. I will probably need a wrench. Right, so come off of here. We'll just, come on, go straight up the wall. Right, actually, we could probably put the valve right there. We'll go up one more. We can do that. Nope, other way. Do that, and then that can feed. Come on, turn around. Okay, put the tank right, the hot tank right there. Ouch. And then have the pipe go this way. Yes. Have it go around. Where am I going to put the furnace? That is going to be the question. If I put the furnace down here, then having that come down like so would probably be your best bet. Because that can feed directly into wherever. I need to have a couple of volume pumps to push into probably some insulated utilities, which would then go into the furnace. So you can mix your hot and cold gas together however you needed it, and then have it come in. Right. So where would the cold tank go? I could hang it off the ceiling. We could have a cold tank just hanging off the ceiling up here. Okay. That's a bit of a interesting design choice, but sure, why not? Grab a tank. So, get it, come on. Nope, that's not the, there we go. And then, of course, the cable is there. Alright, so we'll have the cable come out here. I'll have the valve down there. So, yeah. Come across. Right. So, connecting to the valve there. Pass over through here, and then back down. Right, just need to, you know what, I'll just make this nice and tidy. I will, come on. Just move you back one. Right, you went around like that. Anyway, do that. Boom. Okay, and so that's hooked up into there. That's all connected up. That's connected up. That will be connected up. Do I have a heat exchanger handy? I do. Looks like I got quite a few if I need them. And I'll need them. Let's see. We are gas to gas. So there's that. I'll just put those there. Right. Okay. So I'll need a waste tank. Waste exhaust. Doesn't have to be a tank itself. Though tanks are handy because they hold a lot of volume. So if I go ahead and assume that the furnace is going to be here. Let's see. That's going to come down, go into an area. Going to have another side connected. You know what? What if I didn't have the tank? The furnace right there. What if I had it on this side? Run the hot line over. Run a cold line over. So I could go ahead and have that here. Yes. Okay, so cold tank could be there, which would make sense because it'll be closer to where the cooling is. Hot tank is there because it's closest to where that is. Have the furnace either there or there. Have the hot, have the cold come over. We'll have probably some switches down here. Yeah, we'll have some switches down here. I'll control a couple of volume pumps. Right. Okay. Okay. I'll take care of that, and then we'll have the exhaust come out. And that can actually, that doesn't need to be in a tank. That can go just straight back out to here. That can go directly into the cooling loop because that'll get recycled around through there. You can tap off, yeah, if I have to, I can inject. If I have a link between the cold side and the hot side, pressure gets down in here, I can just dump cold into the hot. That's going to cool that down, but my plan is to constantly be making water. So that's constantly going to be hot. And let's be honest, I'm not making ingots and alloys all the time. So that will have a chance to heat up to where we need it. Okay. Okay. Well, I have enough set up to where I can get that chip program, so let's go ahead and do that. guess I'll just walk through here. Let's see. Check on temps. I turned that off because that was down to temperature. That was pretty good. And now you're chipping away at that. If I can get this to liquefy the pollutant and the nitrous, I'll be happy with that. And then we just constantly push pressure down, which they're pretty much topped up as it is. Yeah, let's turn you off. Well, let's turn you off. That'll allow that to empty a little bit better. Let's try to get that underneath a megapascal, and we'll turn this thing back on. Turn you off. That'll top up to 5 megapascals. And that's barely put a dent in that. It's filling right back up. Perfect. Okay, so then you're getting topped up from there. You get to heat back up. That's going to be cooling down. Now, the benefit of having the outside air, which is currently at 462, get pumped into this section is this is already going to be hotter than what the outside is. So any difference in temperature is only a benefit to cooling this down. At least that's the theory. Right. Now, what I probably should do is instead of having these daisy chained like I have them, have a single line going into the regulators connected to the outside and not having the previous sections connected via like this. Oh. Didn't realize I was talking so long. The battery ran out in my light. Well, let me check. Oh, I could probably use a drink.
Hydration critical.
Well, there you go. Can't argue with that. Oh yeah, I need to check on the plants anyway. So I have too much stuff in my inventory. So that's a normal day. Let's put these trays away. I did want to plan out the hydroponics garden. Let's get you off. Let's get some water. Precious water. Have a snack. Right. Let's get the next round of seeds. Oh, yeah. Only stacked 10. Right. Well, I actually didn't mean to. Yeah, we'll do one more planting. Yeah, that'll work. Eventually, what I'm going to need to do is shrink this down once I get the other garden up and going. Ideally, though, I don't want to move this water over to the new garden area until I've established that I can actually create water, cool it down in a timely manner, so if for whatever reason I need to, I don't have to use that. basically the goal is if I have a water surplus, a usable water surplus, then I can actually start refilling this tank back up to where it was when we started. Bring it back in here, have this shrunk down probably just to the original 2 rows here, and well, not really plant anything in here. Or if I do plant something, make it like ferns or even switchgrass, something like that. You know, the things that I don't currently have. Right. Okay, so that's all replanted. I still have a potato over here that I could cook and... Oh, there's a storm. Well, that'll help with power. Right. Code. Suit.
Oxygen low.
Oxygen is low. Of course it is. Everything was low. Let's get that repositioned over there. Might as well let you go. Sure. I'll top off my O2. O2. Jetpack is fine. Right. Let's go. And normally in the past, regarding the automated farm, normally in the past I've just dealt with Harveys. I really haven't dealt with Larry. I know Larry's been out a while. I know everyone likes Larry. But don't you think Harvey's lonely? Why am I? Just walk through the thing. Now, I could do something very complicated to where I could make Harveys and then have Larry feed the Harvey seeds. That I might seriously think about doing. Now, there is a huge advantage. Well, there are actually a few. What am I doing? What am I doing? Talking to myself. Oh, shit. I gotta get the code going. Talk about Larry later. Yes. Do have a couple of phase change devices printed up just in case we want to mess around. I do really want to get a better cooling system in a more compact way. It would have to be tied into to this bulk cooling here, but I got to do something better. You needs a chip. Chip go in there. Right. Let's clear this out. What are we dealing with? We are dealing with... Right. I could call it filtration, because that's what I normally call them, but it's not really filtration, it's combustor. So, combustor is DB. Alias the mixer is D0. And then we'll alias the hot tank as D1. Okay, so... Right. So we'll want a 2-to-1 ratio of the gases coming in. So if I go ahead and define, let's say, ratio as what will I want to compare? Well, let's see. It's H2O, right? That's the catchphrase. So we need 2 volatiles to 1 oxygen. So if I were to say, take the oxygen, ratio of the oxygen, times that by 2, is that number less or greater than the ratio? Right, so if we just say 66 for the ratio, I could put decimals in there, but this is just going to be quick and dirty. Not too worried. Worst comes to worst. Worst comes to worst, I should be oxygen rich. I really don't want any volatiles escaping. So may have to worry about that. We'll get there if we have to. Right, so we'll do that. Start, and of course jump to the start. We'll throw in a yield. Now, first thing we want to do is, we need to define a few more things, like define the fuel pressure. I don't think I want to go above 5 megapascals myself. Now, if we're processing the water and the output gets up to a certain pressure, probably want to stop to prevent it from blowing the pipes in the tank up. So I will say the max pressure is, I don't know. Let's keep a nice safe number, 30,000, right? That's well below anything bursting. Yeah. Now it's going to be super hot, so I do not have to worry about any kind of condensation. So, yes. Okay, I think that should do it, right? I don't have to worry about temperature. I only have to worry about pressure coming in, pressure going out, ratio. Right, I'll be comparing the temperature in the output pipe versus the hot tank, so I don't need to define a temperature. Okay, so first thing we want to do, what's the first thing we want to do? Probably, doesn't really matter what the order of operations are, but if I just think logically of, okay, fuel going into the combustor, the most important thing is going to be pressure, right? So, load into R0 from the combustor, pressure input, and we will set less than. Is R0 less than the fuel pressure? If that's true, then turn the mixer on, right? Okay. We'll save to the mixer on R0. So if it's below the fuel pressure, it'll be a 1. Turn the mixer on. If it's at or above the fuel pressure, it'll be a no. No, that's no. Yeah. If it's below the fuel pressure, it's a 1. If it's at or above, it'll be a 0. So 1 turns it on, 0 turns it off. So that'll work. Next, probably the fuel ratios. So we're done with R0. We can reuse R0. So we'll load into R0 from the combustor. The ratio of oxygen. And we might as well get rid of that number as well. In fact, let's just get rid of that line. I can always type it in later. Right. So we load into R1 what the ratio of the oxygen is. If the ratio is low, we'll want to turn the setting up. If the ratio is high, we'll want to turn the setting down. Maybe we check the ratio last. Branch relative greater than. If R1 is greater than ratio, we'll want it to do something. I need to think on this. Okay, so we'll check the ratio. We'll load into R1 what the ratio of the oxygen is. If it's less than ratio, we'll go ahead and add to the setting. Now we'll jump down to add setting and load in what the setting is. and it'll add 1 to the setting. Oh, I forgot to save that. Silly. Save to the mixer setting R1. R0, not R1. Hey. Right, and same thing down here. So if the ratio is, so if the ratio to oxygen is less than ratio, it'll jump on down here and say, hey, go ahead and add that. Then it'll say, hey, is the ratio too great? Then subtract that. And then jump back to the start. So we will check the ratio and adjust the setting on the mixer last thing we do. Otherwise, it could go into a loop and not continue on when we need to check what the pressure of the output is and what the pressure of the input is. So, check for the pressure for the fuel. If it's below 5 megapascals, turn the mixer on. And that's crucial. We don't want to get stuck in some sort of a loop down here and have this not get turned back off once it reaches pressure. So we want to make sure that everything above here gets checked first, and then we can do the shenanigans down here. Right. So, having said that, we'll reuse R0 and combustor pressure output. And we will say that if the pressure is too great, turn something off. If the pressure is too great, we check to see if the pressure is too great, it'll give us a 1. So really, we want to say, hey, if it's under this pressure, which will then return a 1, go ahead and keep running. If it's the other way around, stop. So if we say set less than, might as well reuse R0. If R0 is less than max pressure, you'll give us a 1. And so then we can save to the combustor mode, if I can spell correctly, R0. So if the pressure on the output is under 30 megapascals, you're good to go. Turn the mode to 1, you're running. If there's a problem, go mode 0. It'll shut the combustion process off. Now this will still allow us to go ahead and check the ratio of what is on the input. Ratio oxygen. How about input? That might be the better way to do that. Okay. Now, the reason I used R1 here, or I'm going to continue to keep this as R1, is for whatever reason I want to go ahead and recheck this number against something later on. If I want to make this more complex, I don't have to change a bunch of variables down below here. So this is going to remain separate, and it's going to get reused once the code runs through again and again and again. That's fine. But if for whatever reason I need to check on this, I'm not having to go through all of here and change everything. So, okay, and I guess I can get rid of this extra jump start. Right, so, okay. Oh, we have not done the comparison of the hot tank and the valve. Right, probably be a good idea to define valve. And I can't spell. I can spell, I just can't type very well. Right, so I'm looking for digital valve. There's the kit. I don't want the kit, I want the actual digital valve. I want the prefab hash. Click on that. There we go. What issue am I having? I am thirsty and hungry. I'll be okay. Right, so we have the valve. We have the hot tank up there. So, check that, check that. Reuse R0, because why not? From the combustor, the temperature output. And we will load into R1 from the hot tank. The temperature. So, if R0 is hotter than R1, it'll come back with a 1, open up the valve. Okay. So, set greater than into R0. Is R0 greater than R1? Space would be helpful. Right. If that is the case, then we will save save batch to the valve on R0. Okay. So let's go through it again. Load the temperature output of the combustor. Load the temperature of the hot tank. If the combustor is hotter than the hot tank, turn the valve on. If it's not, turn the valve off. Okay. Okay, so then as the hot tank gets filled up with the cold, the valve will keep turning on, and on until everything equalizes. Hot tank's nice and hot. Use the hot tank gas, that will start to lower the pressure, and then it will be replenished with the cold reservoir. Then that will bring down the temperature, and then the valve starts opening and closing again. Everything's fine. That sounds good. I will export you. And I will take care of my heavy breathing, because why not? Come on. Why is it only 19 degrees in here? That's not on. Anyway, water. You know, I'm thinking that since I've got this food reserve here, maybe I'll cook up another potato or 2 or 3. Should probably get a refrigerator going too. Get a stockpile of the potatoes for food. Because my stopgap right now is water. Usable water. Yes. I've got a decent amount of water in the pipe. But yeah, this is going to be close. Yeah, like I said, I'm doing good. I'm doing okay for oxygen itself. I've got cooling down for this room. I want to be clear on that. It's for this room. I mean, I've got enough. I mean, just what's in that length of pipe ought to keep this cool for a while. I mean, realistically, if I have the rest of this turned off, I don't have it running, even on a chip, it's not going to use power, it's not going to generate heat, so the only thing that's really generating heat is that light, that water filler-upper, which I can turn off, and that housing. So it's the housing and the light. And the airlock doors. Oh, and the APC. And the APC. Although, when I'm out through there, this is all exposed to the other side, so reality, yeah, there's not that much going on. Just the two lights, the housing. Right, let's focus. Let's focus. Come on, click the button. Don't have a valve handy, do I? I mean the manual valve, not a digital valve. Right. Right. Take the chip, turn you off. Let's get out there and see what we can do. Yeah, I'm getting to the point where I should probably think about completely moving this out somewhere else. Right. Won't turn you on just yet. Okay, so I'm basically dealing with CO2. Well, that's very heavy oxygen rich, isn't it? That's okay. It's a gas I can use to breathe with. That's no problem. A teeny tiny amount of water. Yes. Well. Let's turn you on. You'll come up with an error. Let's see. We'll need the gas mixer to there. We'll need the tank small insulated to there. Close you up. Now, if I were to go ahead and turn you on. Okay, you kick on. So then you should stop. Okay. You're having trouble keeping up. Well, that's fine. You're doing that there. It's the oxygen. Right. Right. Fair enough. Out of curiosity, how much water are we talking about? It's not a whole lot of water. Right. A trace amount of volatiles are going to react with the oxygen and combust. Right. Well, I have to admit, the fuel mixer is doing its job. Well, if that's the case, probably should put this up. Sheets. Shoe. Let's see. I need glass. Glass. Where's the glass? There's glass. Now, even though that's a vacuum, in my opinion, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to get cold. So it'll help cool that down then. Okay. I guess I'll just have to try to live with that. Right. Pick you up off the floor. I think that we're okay there. Turn you off. Re-enable you. Oh, I've got to fix the, right. I've got to fix the panels. Don't want to run out of juice. Here, offload all of you. Grab the tape, because I know I'm going to need it all. Right. going outside. Let's use up the... Yeah. Okay. I might put another shelf in there to have an extra row of tape. Okay, so technically that's done. I just need to supply oxygen. I have a decent amount of volatiles as is. I should get that going again though, since we're here. But right now my main concern is to get that cooled down. So I need to pipe in. All right, let's think this thing through. All right, I need to pipe in and get connected up cold tank. And the cold tank will feed into the hot tank. I got to have a pump. I'm sure I have a pump around here somewhere. Yes, I've got actually a few pumps, which are going to be handy because I'll need to have pumps going into a furnace reservoir to go into the furnace and then back out. All right. All right, we might as well try to figure this out sooner rather than later. Where, oh where am I planning on putting things? Right. So if I were to... Okay, I need to get you out of where you're at. So I need to evacuate you completely of stuff. So if I disassemble you, you might actually just off-gas everywhere. And not to mention there's a fair amount of gas in there. Be a shame to waste it, although... No. Don't think about going mining. Turn that off. Open that up. Let a significant amount of pressure go down. Let's take you out. And let's put you there. Let's hook you up via here and turn you on. That will evacuate you. We'll disassemble this, put it over there, give us an idea of where the advanced furnace will go. You're doing your thing. I can pump cooler air into there. Yeah, might as well check on this. How are we doing? Yeah, 180. When it was in the 220s or something like that before. Okay. Okay. Right. So you're doing your thing. Nothing else I can do for you at the moment. Now, cold. Cold. I have a question. From what cold do we pull from? Do we pull from this cold, which is, well, really cold? Or do we pull from this cold, which is, relatively speaking, still pretty cold? I mean, not to the touch, but I mean, compared to the water that's coming out of there, and what would be going into a furnace to do alloys. This is plenty cold. Heck, even that's plenty cold. How cold are you? I mean, it's not the coldest. It's not the coldest. The benefit of having this would be the potential. Oh, I just had a thought. Yes, it hurt. If I liquefy this, the CO2, I'll have pure CO2 that I can then pipe back out there into the cold tank. Now, it'll be awfully cold, but if I were to run a line out, okay, so we get this, I want to have something in my hand I can point with. There we go. So if we get this disassembled, move out of here, this will open up. We'll remove the pump, clean this up, tidy this up a bit, have the pipe come through here. This will be the super hot gas, right? So we'll have that come through here. We could put a temporary heat exchanger so that the CO2 that's been liquefied and are going to be evaporated gets heated up quite nicely, as far as not liquefying, not bursting any pipes and whatnot. And that can then feed into there, because we're going to need a fair amount of volume for both. That not so much, because that amount of heat, yeah, you're not going to need much mass in there to get that up to pressure. And I really don't want that to get above 40. Just in case something happens and the pressure spikes, I want to have plenty of leeway. And realistically, I can't really foresee anything that I would need to smelt that would require all that volume with that kind of heat. So, okay. Alright. Right. How are you doing? You're getting there. You're getting there. How are you doing? You're okay. You're still doing your thing. So... Right. I think I am going to move some stuff around. I'll need you, but not right now. Hold on to that pipe. I'll hold on to that stuff. Right. I could recycle these liquid deals, but I might actually have a use for them. I'm not sure. There we go. Nope, that's what I wanted. Right. Here, I'll put you right here. There. Hold that. Okay. Well, I mean, to be fair, that does clean out a bit of my inventory. It's kind of nice. Right. You need oxygen. I need to get oxygen. I need to seriously think about filling up a portable tank of oxygen. Now, if I did that, I should be able to put the connector there, pipe it directly into there, so none of this has to get changed. That would be ideal, wouldn't it? Should I just try to do that instead of trying to do canister by canister? Would make things a bit easier, wouldn't it? Okay. Okay. Wrench. Okay. We'll leave you alone. I will go ahead and place this, though. So, get it in the right orientation. Okay, we don't want it to phase through walls or anything. Right. Grab some pipe. You will go like so, and you will go like so. Take you out, take you out. Now what I might end up doing is just putting a meter right there, so I don't have to try to find the dial on the tank. Yes. Okay. So that's that. Right. So, do I route cold gas or do I route liquid? I'll want liquid eventually. I'm thinking right now, probably not, because then what I'll need to do is I liquefy the CO2, I have to replenish it with the hotter stuff, which means I have to replenish that with even hotter, you know. So I'm at a good place right now. I just need to get cold gas over there. So what is going to be the most expedient way to do that? I mean, that's 100 degrees cooler. Right. Okay. What would be 550 Kelvin? So that's basically 273.5 minus that. So if we were to say 300 minus 550, that's 250. So we are in the range of right here. Probably be our best bet. Now, out of curiosity, with these guys running, that's probably not going to cool down that much, but that will cool down. Okay, so you right here, but the pollutant and the nitrous, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. Now, take the hit. Let's just go ahead and pipe in, pipe that in. Come on. Alright, so come down here, put in a pump, put in a pump. Right. So, put in a pump there. That means I can branch off of here. Nope. Yep. Alright, so that's going to be hot. I can do something similar here for the cold. Right. So, that'll come in, say there. I can come in there. Do that. Let's get the furnace set up. Now, I'm trying to remember. The advanced furnace, I think the top is the in and the bottom is the out. Or is it the other way around? I can't remember. I think maybe the bottom isn't. We'll have to figure that out. As long as I keep it open enough to where I can rearrange the things, I'll probably be okay. So that means let's maneuver the cable out of the way, reroute it. All right. Okay. So come out. It'll go into there. Might even knock this out, put a pump there as well. But first things first. We need one of you. We'll need heavy cable. Right. We will need, let's see, yep, that'll work. Ah, convenient, we'll hook in right here. And I'll turn you all the way up. Let's switch over to the Atmo Analyzer. Right. Right. There's no reason to have you on. Okay. And let's turn you off. You know what? Let's top you off. Let's get rid of the pollutant and the nitrous. I'll bring your temperature up a wee little bit, but that's not the end of the world. Right. Okay. Yeah, let's get all of you then topped off. No, that's not what I wanted. I should remove you. You don't need to be there. Yeah, you don't need to be there. In fact, that'll be nice because it'll give me an extra regulator I can use somewhere else. Right. You're getting fed there. That's fine. Trace amounts. Almost trace amounts. A little more than trace amounts. Although you're going down because you're being pushed out into here. You're condensing quite nicely. Alright, I think that's enough. We'll get the rest of you topped off because why not? Once all the pollutant is out of there, just give it a couple more seconds just to be sure. Right. So if we turn you on, you're going to do that thing. That's going to drop like a rock. Well, actually, it's quite manageable, isn't it? I could tell myself, yeah, you can walk away from this. Then you walk away, you get distracted with something else, and all of a sudden you're whoosh, like, what the? And yeah. Now, I still have this in reservoir there. So, my cooling in the other room, my ability to have plenty of CO2 is still intact, and that's a lot of gas if you think about it. Yeah, that'll be nice. So that could actually get completely emptied out, and it would not affect the other room. Okay, you're kind of Right, silly. You're not pulling from there. You're pulling from here. That's fine. That's actually better because that still gives me the option to get some liquid CO2 completely separate from this. All right. Well, hurry up. I ain't got all day. Now, in fact, what I might do. All right, that's a start, right? So we'll turn you off. Let's turn you back on. You're going to shove a bunch of stuff in here. It's going to get too hot. That's fine. We'll get you cooling again. And in no time, you'll be condensing the unwanted stuff out. We'll be left with the stuff we want. Like, let's do that now. You get to doing your thing. And it's gonna be slow, but it's working its way through it. That's fine. That means we have all of this up into there, all the way there. So let's get I could put a regular on there instead of a pump. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's turn you around. Make sure the dial's facing out. Yes, it is. Okay. All right. Line coming up there. Go around, tie into there. That'll work. So, come out through here. Right, we'll just tie in like so. We'll want what? Like I said, I don't want to overpressure that. Let's start off with... Let's see what a megapascal does. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's see what happens. Well, that didn't take long to fill, did it? Okay. So... Alright. I need a valve. I need a valve. Yes, I need a valve. Let me get this stuff chewed up on its way. Okay. So, valve. You know what? I put those in as safeties. There is no way you guys are going to be condensing. There isn't. No, you're not. And of course you need the thingy for it to be removed. So there we go. Yeah, go through the quick access tunnel. We will put you like so. So. Let's go for it. That starts cooling down. That starts going up. That's going to take a lot to do that, which is fine by me. That's going to bring that down. If I had more oxygen, then that would still be going super duper hot, which probably means I should think about, yeah, I should actually think about getting that taken care of. So what I may end up doing, got a lot of water in the pipes in there. Maybe I disconnect the water tank that's in there. Pull up the connector so I don't have to print out another one. That might not be a horrible idea. Just out of curiosity, yeah, okay. Put you over there. You need a hand drill. Right. Right. I need a hand drill because I need to then. Alright, I could put you here. Where's the O2 tank? Where did I put the O2 tank? There's the O2 tank. Let's get you deployed. Let's get you up. Ooh, on there. Come on. Get on there. You're not too close. Oh, no, you're not too close. You're not too close. Get you hooked up. Let's pull you out. Right, pipes that I have right here. So do that. Connect you there. Connect you there. You'll do that. You're going to be pumping from there. We'll pull enough oxygen out from here until it says oxygen low. We got plants growing still, so they should still be able to offset whatever I take out. It's just going to take longer, but time is not on my side. It's a fair amount of oxygen in the air if it's taking this long to run. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Turn you back on. Replenish the pressure. I'll pump in more CO2. I think when it either gets to 65 or 60 moles in here is when it will let me know that oxygen's getting a little thin. Must be 60. That's okay. I can use all the oxygen I can put in this tank.
Oxygen low.
Alright, 61.5-ish, so call it 62. That'll work. What's in there? Alright, you're still cranking through. Still got a ways to go. Okay, I think that about do it for today. I'll go ahead in the meantime and get that furnace up and running and see if I can get myself some Constantan and Invar. Other than that, as always, although a challenge can be fun, don't let having fun be a challenge. See ya.